During the delivery of the budget speech, the Minister of Finance, Honorable Pegisirame, announced that they will review the first schedule to the Value-Added Tax Act. A bill has been issued proposing to amend the first schedule and the second schedule to the Act, meaning the zero-rated items list and the exemptions list will be amended. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tumelo Ranau. Welcome to the text platform. We are on episode 21. Now, the first schedule to the Act deals with what we call zero-rated items, and these are categorized as taxable supplies. So in simple terms, you can simply say they are taxable at the rate of 0%. The distinguishing factor when it comes to zero-rated items and the exempt items, which are found in the second schedule, is that for the exempt items, if you are exclusively supplying exempt supplies, that means you have non-taxable supplies, and therefore you are not required to register for VAT, or you are not eligible to register for VAT, even though your sales or revenue may be beyond the 1 million puller threshold. So then that means generally zero-rated goods will be cheaper than exempt goods, because if you are exempt, that means you are not able to claim the input tax that you have incurred from your suppliers. But if you are zero-rated, you are able to recover that input tax from suppliers. So those who can't recover the input tax from beds will then have to recover it from you as the consumer, making the goods even more expensive. So the first schedule, being the zero-rated items, will now include cooking oil in all its form, whether it's olive oil, whether it's sunflower, whether it's coconut. As long as it is cooking oil, it will now be zero-rated and not be chargeable to VAT. Remember that the cooking oil was zero-rated for a period of 6 months up to beginning of February, and now this extension or the zero rating will be permanent and not be temporary like it was before. Another item that was zero rated earlier on during the year for a period of 6 months was liquefied petroleum gas, which is normally used for cooking. So it will now be permanently zero rated, and it won't be a temporary intervention. Another new item to the list will be infant formula, your baby diapers, and sanitary pads. So the pink tax movement, I believe, will be happy to hear about these new developments on sanitary pads being zero rated, meaning they will get them cheaper. One of the announcements that the minister had made during the budget speech was that private medical facilities will be zero rated. But from the bill now, it turns out that the private medical facilities or services provided by private medical facilities will be exempt and will not be zero rated. So this is likely to make it more expensive and be against the intention, which was to make it cheaper. So what does this mean for private medical facilities? As they will now be exempt, it means they will have to deregister for VAT purposes, and deregistration for VAT triggers deemed output tax on all the property and equipment that those private medical facilities own. So if you are a hospital and you have a building, that means you are going to have to pay VAT on the market value of that building. Whatever equipment you have to value it also, pay VAT on the market value of that of that building. So it is one of the items that will result in the private medical services being more expensive, as that's one of the VAT or the expenses that the private medical facilities have to recover from their patients. Another impact also in relation to the deregistration will mean that these private medical facilities will now be chargeable to what we call VAT on imported services, which is normally paid by exempt suppliers and non-registered people like your ordinary men on the streets. So they'll now be subject to VAT on imported services. So if you are getting any services from outside the country, whether it's consultancy services, whether you are getting a doctor or whatever management services, and you pay them, you'll need to declare VAT on imported services for that. Another cost added, meaning it will even be more expensive, and this will be recovered from clients, especially for hospitals that do not originally come from Botswana but are franchises from outside the country, and they pay management fees, they pay all sorts of fees outside the country, so they'll even be more expensive. But the alternative that can happen is that instead of them being exempt, they be zero rated like it was the intention earlier. So if they are zero rated, there will be no need to deregister, because zero rated items fall under the taxable supplies, and this will likely make them more cheaper than when they are on the exempt list. So that means the regulations will also be amended. That is the value-added tax exempt regulations, to remove the medical facilities services under those regulations, and then come up with new regulations specifically on zero-rated items on medical facilities. But if the bill goes as is, it means on the regulation, the only change that will come through will be the deletion of the word public under public medical facility, to ensure that it covers everyone, whether private or public. So the encouragement is for private medical facilities, individual or through their associations, to approach the ministry to go with the first intention of ensuring that the services are zero rated instead of being exempt, and other stakeholders interested also in this bill can approach the finance ministry to make that change. Otherwise, you can expect that private medical services will be more expensive than they are currently. Thank you.